Hi, I'm Gayla. After 20 years of climbing the corporate ladder, I took the leap and started my own business to pursue my dream of creating a work-from-anywhere lifestyle. Having the freedom to work from practically anywhere is such a cool feeling. You're in the right place if you're looking for ideas and inspiration to start and grow your own online business. Every week in this podcast, you'll receive practical ideas, hints, tips, and tricks to help you grow your online business where you can leverage your time and you can accomplish more. You too can experience wonderful adventure and freedom as you live life on your own terms. Hi there, and welcome to the Gayla Scrivener Show. I am so glad you're here today because lately I've been having a lot of conversations with folks about the challenges of building the right team. So many conversations, in fact, that I thought I'd dedicate the next several shows in talking about my experience of leading a virtual team. You know this of me that I created about 7 years ago, I created my own virtual assistant company. At first, I was freelancing. I did it all myself. But since then, I've created a team, and as a team, we help our clients with primarily their content marketing work. It's pretty much the communication that they have with their clients and their customers. And we do anything from helping them with formatting their blog posts. We do some web design. We do podcast production. We do email campaigns. We do some ghostwriting. We do direct mail newsletters. Just several things that have to do with content marketing. Oh, social posts. We have social media packages, and I have this unique perspective because I am not only a virtual assistant or starting out as a virtual assistant, but I've shifted and I lead virtual teams. So I have a unique perspective kind of on both sides of the spectrum, so to speak. I feel very, very fortunate to have a spectacular team, and the longer we work together, I think the better we get. I genuinely love working with each one of my team members. We're a small but mighty team. It is a spectacular feeling to be working with these individuals. And I almost feel a little guilty because I feel like I'm bragging sometimes, because I know that building a team isn't always rainbows and unicorns and candy stripes and all of that. It is work in finding the right team members. And don't get me wrong, there are challenges that do arise when coordinating any team, whether it's a virtual team or a face-to-face team. I mean, there's going to be challenges, but overall, it's my belief that we can create our very own dream team. And it has a lot to do with us being a leader. I came from a background of managing teams in my corporate life. I had managed teams with sizes ranging from just a few, 3 or 4, 5, half dozen, whatever, to more than 50 individuals. And many times I was managing folks who I didn't even select for the job. I was just kind of put into the position and left to manage individuals that I didn't necessarily select. And that presented its own set of challenges. Not always did I select the right person for the job. Sometimes I missed and it wasn't the right fit. And it's all been a learning experience, and I'm still learning. And we just have to take risks. But the people that we bring in to our business, it really can either make us or break us. One thing that just truly breaks my heart is when I hear about bad virtual assistant experiences. I'll be honest with you, sometimes I have entered into a client VA relationship that just wasn't the right fit. It was just off. Not that we parted ways poorly, but it just wasn't a good experience for either one of us. And what I really strive to do is I really want people to build a team that makes them thrive. You know, when I chose to leave the corporate world, I saw myself as running my own company. And by running my own company, that would suggest that I would need a team at some point. But right out of the gate, leaving a corporate job where I was just totally and completely burnt out, at first I knew that the company was just going to be me. Just me only. But I believe that teams take on really different shapes nowadays. Our workforce does not have to go into the traditional realm. You can have teams as small or as large as you like. And some can be employees and some are independent contractors. Some you see face to face all the time or occasionally, and some you may only have phone or video calls with. And maybe some is just email communication. Some who work on a continual basis, and some people on your team you may call on for just specific projects. Because technology has awarded us so much flexibility in creating teams, it is so affordable for us as small business owners, micro business owners, we can create our dream team in any fashion that we want that is affordable, and we can grow incrementally as our budget allows. And I just love that. I don't think that just starting out, goodness, I would have waited a lot longer to hire my first person to help me in the business if I did not have this flexibility, if I felt like I had to hire them full time. I just knew I couldn't afford it. So I really believe in the flexibility that virtual assistants can award any small business. And it's my belief that you shouldn't just hire anybody to help you build your business. I mean, that's just me, maybe. I feel like my business is, kind of a part of me. I mean, it's a personal brand business, for heaven's sakes. It is a part of me. So I don't want to just hire anybody to help with my stuff. I want somebody who gets me, that we can have this connection, that we can just have this really good communication going back and forth. I think that the person that I want to work with in my business has to be the right fit. The person that you hire really needs to be the right fit for you and share in your enthusiasm for your business. I do have this unique perspective as I chose to leave the corporate world in operations of medical offices into working with solopreneurs in a supportive role. And I chose to become a virtual assistant to work behind the scenes for small businesses. And I love it. And at first, it was just me and only me in the business. I was just freelancing to find my first clients. And most of us start out freelancing in what we do. We have this gift of what comes easy to us, and we can help other people do that thing. Well, my thing happened to be a lot of copywriting and email campaigns and design work. And I have a knack for databases. I love that type of stuff. And I love getting my clients kind of virtually organized or helping them stay consistent in what they need to do with their content marketing. And by being a company of one, at first, we all seem to do everything ourselves, literally everything. And we're trying to figure out everything. Some things we struggle with, but we are determined to learn and master that task. And some things that we struggle with, we just ignore and just make do until we can afford help. Who's with me on that? I mean, most individuals that I work with are coaches, consultants, speakers, online educators, and at first they're doing everything themselves, just like me. And after a while, what happens is overwhelm and stress sets in because there's just more work and more tasks to do than what you can possibly do yourself. So what happens? Desperation, right? This overwhelm and stress, it leads to desperation. And you want to find relief, and you want that relief to be quick. You want to find that person or those individuals to just take some of this overwhelm and stress away. Just do the thing, right? It's my opinion that during your overwhelm and stress time, that is not the best time to be looking for hiring your first VA. Now, this episode is talking about when the very best time to start looking for your virtual assistant. And it's not when you're overwhelmed and when you're stressed that you should be first looking for help in your business. The very best time to begin looking is before you actually need a virtual assistant. For me, I knew from the very beginning when I opened the doors of my business that I was not going to freelance forever. I knew that I wanted to grow beyond what I could do physically myself. But there was absolutely no way at first that I could hire anybody. I had to do it myself. I had more time than I had clients. So I had to just figure it out and do things myself. But I knew from the very beginning that I was going to have a team. I wanted a small team, and actually, thinking about it just now, my vision of how my company was going to be with a team is different now than it was 7 years ago. But I am super proud of how it's evolved, because as my business evolved, as I've learned to be an entrepreneur, then my team has evolved. And the very first day that you open your business, you become a leader, even if you don't have a team, because you start thinking in that line. Even if you don't have a team to manage or to lead, you need to start thinking in that capacity. You are a leader. You are a leader of your business. So you start to have that mindset, and that puts you into always looking for your next virtual assistant. Always be looking for the individuals that you could be adding to your team. For you, you may think that you'll always do things on your own, and perhaps you will. But I'd venture to say that if you're a coach or consultant or a speaker or a creative of some sort, you're going to need help in some fashion someday. There will be a time where you may need emails formatted and sent for an event that you're hosting because you're just simply too busy taking care of other things. There may be a time where you need some forms or a book or whatever that you want done, and you don't want to mess around with all that formatting stuff. When you have client meetings that fill your calendar, when you want to get things done and leverage your time, I venture to say that you're going to start forming a team. And like I said before, your team can be in all different shapes. It can be somebody that works with you on a project base, or somebody ongoing, or somebody as an independent contractor, or a part-time employee, or a combination. It takes on a different shape, and what their tasks may actually involve may be a lot of different things. And a majority of us will need help in some way someday. So always keep your mind open and be on the lookout for folks that may be added to your team in the future. Always be thinking of your processes and systems. Think of the tasks or projects that would be beneficial to bring on a team member, either short-term or long-term. And when you're dreaming big, be sure to include how you're going to get it all done to actually achieve that big dream of yours. Now, as you meet individuals, because you're going to be going out there, you have a lot of networking experiences. You will be networking face-to-face. You go to seminars, you would go to conferences. Just keep in the back of your mind, how the people that you meet may help you in the future. Start to follow them. Figure out if they have similar or aligned beliefs. This is not only in-person networking, but also you may belong to Facebook groups, or you're in a online course and there's some closed groups and there's some forums or discussion going on. You start to meet people online as well. like I said, figure out if they have similar or aligned beliefs. And I'm not saying that you're going to be discriminatory. Not at all. What I mean is through conversations or following somebody online for a while, you learn a great deal about an individual. Are they following the same industry leaders as you are? Do they have some of the same interests as you? You form a connection, a relationship before you even need to fill a position. People ask me all the time, it's like, oh, I'd like to use your services, but I'm not ready. I really encourage them to get on my email list and follow me because I may not be the right fit. And I hope I am. And through this podcast, I hope that you get to know me better, my philosophies, and maybe there's a connection there. Because my tendency is that I want to hire someone for the long term. And when you get that connection with someone, it's more like you're talking in shorthand. And like I was saying, if you meet somebody that's in the same coaching scenario or the same online course, and they have a talent, they may not call themselves a virtual assistant, but they are able to help you in some way. And you begin to follow them, and you have this connection with them, and you have some of the same beliefs because you've gone to the same online class and you follow the same steps. So when it is time to have a discussion, there's almost like a shorthand. You already have a connection. And once you start following somebody, you would get a feel for if you want to work with them long term or not. And for me, I'll give you an example. For me, it took a while to hire my accountant to take care of all the tax stuff. I was pretty slow at hiring my accountant. Now, an accountant does not call themselves a virtual assistant, but an accountant is most certainly a part of your team, whether you just see them once a year or quarterly, or I view my accountant as that I want to have a virtual CFO relationship with my accountant. So even though they're not technically a virtual assistant, they are a professional that works outside of my office and they work virtually. They don't work in my office, but they are a part of my team. I hate anything to do with taxes, honestly. And I have this mind block when it comes to taxes, and I can suck it up and figure out the forms, and I don't like it. But what I hate even more is letting just any accountant look over my financials. Maybe it's just me. I find my financials, it's like a very private thing, and I don't want just anyone to look at them. I don't know. I'm weird. Maybe I'm weird, but that is me. So it took me probably, a couple of years, maybe a little more, to find my accountant. And I struggled. But how I found my accountant was through my local networking. And there was some that I worked with and gained a relationship, but there was something about them that I just didn't connect with. So I was patient. I struggled and did my own thing, but I was always on the lookout. Always on the lookout. And how I chose my accountant, I met this individual and he came to the meetings and he came consistently. He became involved, or one of his team members. And I connected with him, and something about him that we were able to have this connection, and I felt like I could trust him to do my books. And they're not that complicated. I know it's not a big deal. I could have gone to any tax chain to do it, but I didn't want that, because what I was looking for in this individual is my virtual CFO. And that's what I told him. I said, I may be small potatoes right now, but I want to be able to talk with somebody and I feel comfortable with, and that I feel like you're not blowing me off, but you can just tell me how I should make his life easier so that my taxes are all in line, and what I should do to have as low a tax as possible, And it took a while, but I found that right person whom I trust. Like I said, you may not think of an accountant as a virtual assistant, but they are most certainly a part of your overall team. So as you're networking and having conversations with other business owners, learn who they use for certain tasks. Because I go to events all the time, and I genuinely like to learn what individuals do. I may not see that I could use their services, and I may never use their services, but if I genuinely get to know them, or if I follow individuals and I have this connection, by golly, if it's something that I can help somebody else and make another connection, make a referral, I really want to do that. And sometimes that's all that matters, is being able to help other people grow their business, whether you use their services or not. So I really encourage folks, because I want to have a long-term relationship with clients, I tend to want to get to know them first before just doing their work. Because every time I was quick into hopping into a client VA relationship because the individual was in a hurry to get this project done, it just didn't work out very well for either one. So start looking for the individual, get to know them, whether it's afar because you're following them from afar, or you have interaction. Find out, does that individual have a website? Do they have resources like a freebie on their website and you can be added to their email list? Then do it. Consistently receiving emails or following their blog and using their resources available to you will allow you to get to know them. It just will. Then, when the time comes that you're stressed and overwhelmed, you already have in your back pocket a list of people that you can turn to for help. Either they can help or they know someone that they trust to help. You may be talking to someone online, and I think I mentioned this a little bit previous. You may be taking someone's online course to help you build your business. Well, that is a perfect place to find people. Find VAs to help you in the future. In closed Facebook groups, you enter into conversations where you find people who have expertise in this little area that you may need help with down the line. What it boils down to is friends helping friends. That's what it is. You build relationships with individuals, and when the time comes that you seek help in one way or another, you already have the resources in your back pocket to reach out to. It is so cool. And besides, following somebody, there's a lot of virtual assistants or freelancers that don't stay in doing that for a long term. And depending on what your needs are, that you may, it may be a few years before you want to work with an individual because you're not in a position to work with them yet. And sometimes it just feels good that it's like, hey, they've been in business for quite some time. Always keep your eyes and ears open. Keep your mind open when meeting individuals and learn more about them. Look for team members before you need to hire one. Besides networking online or face-to-face or going to events, an additional avenue that I recommend is visiting IVAA.com. That's for International Virtual Assistant Association. And there's another website, virtualassistants.com. They both are great resources, and that's where many virtual assistants hang out. And I also recommend simply a Google search. You'll find a few people who pique your interest, and you'll want to begin to follow them. And don't be shy in having a conversation with a virtual assistant to see if you'd like to get to know them further. Now, next week, I'm going to continue this line of thought and go over the different types of virtual assistants. So be sure to tune in, because even though someone may not actually call themselves a virtual assistant, you'll be hiring them onto your team. So it's a good idea to get your head around all the concepts of building your own dream team. And I do hope you enjoyed today's episode and you found it helpful. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher. So thanks for listening, and until next time, have a fantastic week.